Nickelodeon Universe reopened on October 1st along with the American Dream Mega Mall in East Rutherford, New Jersey. This mall is located in the Meadowlands Sports Complex and is just a short ride away from New York City, either by driving or public transit. In this video, I want to talk about what you can expect if you visit Nickelodeon Universe now that they have reopened. Let's start with the experience getting there. It is still free parking, for now. The plan is to eventually charge for parking, and early reports say it could be up to $24 to $30 depending if the adjacent MetLife Stadium has an event going. But Nickelodeon Universe said they'll validate parking for $10. But the plan to charge for parking is indefinitely on hold right now, as there aren't really events at MetLife Stadium. Once you go into the mall, Nickelodeon Universe is at the far end. Along the way, you can see the mall with the stores that are currently open. Roughly 60 stores are open right now, which is 20% of the target. And this mall is really nice looking. It's very sleek and ornate in design. In order to enter the mall, you need to wear a face mask, and that carries over when you enter Nickelodeon Universe. And one thing I have to give the Nickelodeon Universe staff credit for, they all wore their masks correctly. And they were enforcing proper mask usage as well among guests. It made me feel very comfortable. Guests are encouraged to buy tickets online, especially because there are capacity caps and reservations are required to enter the park. On non-busy days, aka most weekdays, Nickelodeon Universe is open from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. On busy days, the park is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. But there's a big catch there. On busy days, the park is broken up into a morning and afternoon time slot. The park is open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., closed from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. for a deep cleaning and to clear out the park, and then it reopens again from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And your admission will only get you into one time slot. It costs $59 regardless if you get the full day or half day. Plus, on the busy days, there are going to be more crowds there as well, so not only do you have less time at the park, but you're not going to be able to do as much because the crowds are going to be worse. Therefore, I strongly recommend visiting on a weekday, and I strongly recommend you check the schedule before visiting so you can know if you're going on a non-busy day or one of the busy days where you have a half day. Once you get to the park, you can proceed directly to the main entrance now. Previously, you had to go to the ticket booth to pick up a wristband, even if you bought your tickets online. And ever since the park reopened for 2020, the entrance and exits were flipped. This gave the park more room to add health screening. And the health screening is broken up into two components. The first are screening questions, and they're pretty similar to what you've seen at other parks. These are the questions. Within the last 10 days, have you been diagnosed with COVID-19, had a test confirming you have the virus, or been advised to self-isolate or quarantine by a doctor or a public health official? Have you had any one or more of the following symptoms today or within the past 24 hours, which is not new or explained by another reason? Fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath, sore throat, fatigue, headache, muscle, body aches, runny nose congestion, new loss of taste or smell, or nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. And in the past 14 days, have you had close contact as defined at New Jersey Department of Health with an individual diagnosed with COVID-19. If you pass the screening questions, you then have to pass a temperature screening, and this is done by a non-contact machine and it displays your temperature. I believe the maximum limit is 100.5 degrees. Now, there are no refunds, but you can reschedule your visit if you fail the thermal screening or the health screening questions. When you enter into the park, you're given a key fob around your wrist, and that's what you use to get into the lockers in the park. The park provides complimentary lockers on all the main attractions. And know about that key fob, it is extremely durable. After I left the park, it took a lot of effort with scissors in order to get those things to come off. It was really robust, and I don't see a way anyone could transfer these over. Now, the locker loose article policy was extremely inconsistent. This was an issue before COVID as well. Sometimes the coasters permitted loose articles to be stored in your pocket. Other times, the operators required you to use the cubbies on the station platform or the free lockers outside the attraction. Lockers are free for the first 30 to 60 minutes, but beware the late fees as they're $5 per half hour. One of the other big changes ever since the park reopened is that no re-entry is allowed. Most parks allow re-entry. The issue here is you can't leave to go get lunch or dinner. And that's an even bigger problem because the ticket you buy will say that there's no food you can bring into the park, and food is not going to be sold at Nickelodeon Universe. However, that last part is not true. Food is being sold at the snack stand. And drinks are being sold at the snack stand as well. However, there are no water cups or water fountains, so if you want water, you're going to have to purchase a bottled water. For that reason, I recommend you bring a water bottle in, as it is permitted per the terms and conditions. As you navigate the park, you'll notice that there are one-way markers on the midway for crowd flow. On a weekday, not many people were following it, but the park wasn't crowded enough to warrant it. On weekends, I see these being pretty critical. In terms of the attractions, the big one for the reopening is that Sandy's Blasting Bronco has finally opened. This intimate launch coaster wasn't open before the park closed due to the pandemic, and it's arguably the park's best attraction. It has a great launch and a really wonderfully twisted layout. And all the roller coasters were open when I visited. In fact, there were only 3 rides closed. The Legends of the Hidden Temple ropes course, which was closed due to social distancing and high touch points. Paw Patrol in Adventure Bay, which again was closed due to social distancing concerns and high touch points, and Invader Zim's Flip and Spin of Doom, the spinning, flipping bumper cars that rarely ever operated. I thought the latter might be removed due to reliability issues, but Invader Zim's was actually relocated to behind Shellraiser. And unless you know the ride's there, it'll be very easy to miss. It's really tucked into a corner behind the bathrooms. In Invader Zim's old spot across from Skyline Scream, you now have a kid's balloon tower. And it's the only kids ride on that side of the park. It hasn't opened yet, but it looks close to opening. I visited on opening day and lines were very minimal. The only line I encountered was for TMNT Shellraiser, which was roughly a half-hour wait at worst because the coaster was broken for half the day. In general, most of the rides ran without any issues, but the 2 Gerstlauer coasters in Shellraiser and Shredder had downtime throughout the day. All rides have social distancing markers in the queue lines. Compliance by guests was pretty good on average, but some didn't follow this. Before boarding any ride, you must sanitize your hands. The employees will visibly watch you dispense the hand sanitizer and rub it on your hands. Now, the coasters are running at about maximum a quarter capacity. Half the seats are in use, and after each use, the seats are cleaned with a super soaker spraying disinfectant. And either the train would then be cycled empty for the disinfectant to dry off, or the seat could be reused if the train sat idle enough in the station for the disinfectant to dry. So, on a busy day, this is really going to kill capacity at this park. That's why I strongly recommend visiting on a weekday, because the capacity limits never really became an issue. Now, do I recommend visiting Nickelodeon Universe? On a weekday? Yes. I found low crowds, almost every ride was open, and the attractions are fun. However, I can't be too sure if I could recommend this on a weekend. The reduced hours and larger crowds can make it challenging to ride a lot in your allotted session, and it's not the best value in those circumstances. So that's what I saw when I visited Nickelodeon Universe on opening day. What are your thoughts about this park? Are you looking forward to visiting this or the giant American Dream Mega Mall? I would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a like and consider subscribing, because there will be a lot more amusement park and roller coaster videos here at Can Be Coaster. Thanks for watching.